Tonight, when your house goes quiet, there are hidden roads running through it. Behind the refrigerator, under the sink, along the baseboards, around the dog's bedding, inside the cracks by the door frame. Ants use those roads. Roaches use them. Fleas, silverfish, and even bedbugs use them too. And most homeowners never notice the road. They only notice one bug after it has already arrived. That is why so many people keep paying $700, $800, sometimes $1,200 a year for pest control and still see the same pests come back. A truck pulls up, a man sprays around the house, leaves a paper on the door, and drives away. For a while it feels handled. Then the ants return near the sugar, the roaches show up under the sink, the fleas come back where the dog sleeps, and the bill starts all over again. But there is a plain white powder that may cost only $4, $6, or $8 a bag. It does not smell like poison. It does not need a monthly contract. It does not need a man in a truck. When placed thinly in the paths where insects travel, it can turn those hidden roads against them. They crawl through it, and slowly, quietly, it dries them out. My name is Simon Hershberger, and today I want to show you this old powder called food-grade diatomaceous earth. The name sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. To your hand, it feels like soft dust. To an insect, it is like walking through tiny broken glass. It scratches the waxy coating on their bodies, and once that coating is damaged, they lose moisture and die. Today, I will show you what this powder is, why it works, which pests it can help control, how to apply it the right way, and the mistakes that make people think it failed. I will also explain why the word food grade matters, why a thin dusting works better than a thick pile, and why wet powder is useless powder. So before you call the pest control truck back, before you sign another yearly plan, and before you spend another $800 fighting the same insects in the same corners, look at your house differently. Stop asking only where you saw the bug. Start asking where it came from, where it hides, and what road it uses when the house is quiet. Because once you find the road, this quiet white powder can make that road a trap. The powder is called diatomaceous earth. That name sounds fancy, but the thing itself is simple. It is a chalky mineral dust dug from old deposits in the ground. Long ago, tiny water plants with hard little shells lived and died in great numbers. Their remains settled, hardened into beds, and became the white earth we mine today. When it is ground fine, it looks like flour. It feels soft between your fingers. It has no harsh smell, no oily shine, no chemical bite. To a person, it is just dust. To an insect, it is something else completely. If you could shrink yourself down to the size of an ant and walk through that powder, it would not look soft anymore. It would look like a field of broken glass. Every tiny particle has edges, hard little corners, and cutting surfaces too small for our skin to notice. But an insect does not have skin like ours. It wears its body on the outside with a waxy coating that holds moisture inside. When the insect walks through a thin layer of this powder, those tiny edges scratch that coating. Then the moisture begins to leave its body and the insect slowly dries out. That is why this powder is different from poison. It does not have to be eaten. It does not have to attack the nervous system. It does not depend on a smell, a taste, or a chemical formula that bugs can someday learn to survive. Insects can build resistance to sprays over time. That has happened in homes, farms, cities, and hotels, but a small crawling body cannot easily become resistant to being scratched dry. The powder does not chase the bug. It does not argue with it. It simply waits where the bug must travel. Now, do not think I am saying it is magic. I do not like magic answers. This powder has rules. It works when it is dry. It works when it is thin. It works when it is placed where bugs actually walk. It does not work as a big white pile in the middle of the floor. It does not work after rain or mopping has made it damp. It does not work when you throw it everywhere and hope the problem disappears by morning. This is not panic pest control. This is patient pest control. It works on ants that come through cracks by the window or under the door. It works on roaches hiding behind the stove, under the sink, and near warm pipes. It works on fleas in carpet edges and pet bedding. It works on silverfish in bathrooms, earwigs near damp corners, crickets that come inside with the weather, and small beetles that find stored food. It can help with bedbugs too, especially because many bedbugs have become hard to kill with ordinary sprays. The powder does not care whether a bug has survived chemicals before. If it crawls through the dust begins its work. But I will give you the honest limits. Diatomaceous earth does not kill eggs. If eggs are hidden in carpet, cracks, bedding, grain, or wall spaces, the powder will not reach inside the egg. What it does is kill the young ones after they hatch and begin to move. That means with fleas, bed bugs, and fast-breeding pests, you must leave the powder in place long enough to catch more than one wave. People fail because they treat it once, vacuum the next morning, and declare it useless. That is not how this works. The second limit is speed. A chemical spray may knock a bug down while you are watching. This powder usually does not. A small soft-bodied insect may die in a day or two. A tougher roach or beetle may take several days. You may still see movement after you apply it, but movement does not mean failure. If the insect has crossed the dust, the damage has begun. You may not always see the body. You simply notice after days and weeks that the ants are gone, the bites stop, and the house becomes quiet again. Now we must talk about the bag because this is where many people make a serious mistake. There is food-grade diatomaceous earth, and there is pool-grade or filter-grade diatomaceous earth. They are not the same thing for your home. Food-grade is the kind you want for household pest control. Pool-grade is treated for swimming pool filters. It is not for your kitchen, not for your bedroom, not for the cracks under your sink, and not for pet areas. If the bag says pool filter or filter aid, leave it alone. When you buy it, read the label slowly. Do not let someone hand you the wrong thing and send you home. The word food grade should be clear. You can find it in farm stores, feed stores, garden centers, hardware stores, and online. A small bag is enough for most homes if you use it correctly. A big bag is for barns, coops, storage rooms, and people who like to keep useful things ready. But remember this. More powder does not mean more power. Thin beats thick every time. Now let me show you how I would use it in a house with ants in the kitchen and roaches under the sink. First, I would not start by dumping powder everywhere. I would watch. I would look for the trail. I would check baseboards, pipe openings, cabinet corners, the back of the refrigerator, the crack where the counter meets the wall, and the warm, dark places insects like. Bugs are not wandering for no reason. They use paths. They follow edges. Your job is not to cover the whole room. Your job is to place fine dust across the roads they already travel. A powder duster is the best tool for that. It can be a small squeeze bottle with a pointed tip. You fill it a little, squeeze gently, and let a light cloud settle into cracks and lines. You are not painting the floor white. You are not making a snowstorm. You are laying down a film so thin that the bug does not even know it is there. If you see big clumps, you used too much. If the floor looks covered, you used too much. The right layer is light, quiet, and almost invisible. Inside the kitchen, put a thin dusting behind the refrigerator, behind the stove, under the dishwasher if you can reach it, along the back edge of lower cabinets, and around pipes under the sink. Put a little near trash areas, not where food is prepared, but where crumbs and moisture invite trouble. For ants, dust the entry points. Around a window frame, along a door threshold, or into the small gap where the wall meets the floor. For roaches, focus on dark places more than open places. Roaches like warmth, moisture, and tight shelter. Make their hiding routes dangerous. In the bathroom, use less, because bathrooms are damp, and dampness weakens the powder. A little behind the toilet where the floor stays dry, a little behind the vanity, and a little around dry pipe cracks can help. Do not spread it where shower steam soaks everything every day. Wet powder is sleeping powder. Once it clumps, the tiny edges cannot do their work well. A dry crack behind a cabinet is a good place. A wet shower corner is not. For fleas, the work is different. Fleas live where the animal rests, and their eggs and larvae hide in fabrics, carpets, cracks, and bedding. Wash the pet bedding first if you can. Let it dry fully. Then dust a small amount into seams and edges. On carpet, sprinkle lightly and brush it down so the dust reaches the fibers instead of sitting on top. Leave it for a few days if possible, then vacuum carefully. With fleas, one treatment is rarely enough because eggs hatch later. You repeat patiently until the cycle breaks. About putting it directly on animals, I will speak carefully. Some people do it, and some farmers have done it for years. But a house pet is not a barn floor. A dog with sensitive skin, a cat that licks heavily, a puppy, an old animal, or an animal with breathing trouble should not be treated casually with any dust. Ask a veterinarian before rubbing powder into a pet. Around bedding areas, use only a thin amount and keep dust away from the animal's face. For bed bugs, patience matters most. These creatures hide in seams, cracks, screw holes, bed frames, baseboards, and tiny dark places people do not inspect. Do not cover the top of your mattress in powder and sleep in dust. That is foolish. Dust the hidden travel points, bed frame joints, cracks in the headboard, around the legs of the bed, along the baseboards behind the bed, under the mattress support, not all over the sleeping surface. Bed bugs move when they feed and when they hide. Place the powder where they must cross and leave it dry and quiet. Outside, use it along dry foundation cracks where ants enter. Follow the trail first. Ants will show you where the problem begins. Dust the path lightly. Dust the entry. Dust the crack. If rain comes, do not expect the powder to keep working. Outdoor use means reapplying after rain, heavy dew, or watering. Inside a dry wall void, the powder can sit useful for a very long time. Outside, nature keeps undoing the work. In the garden, use a careful hand. Diatomaceous earth can harm insects you do not mean to harm if you dust it carelessly. Do not coat open flowers. Do not dust places where bees are working. Put it low, near the soil, around the base of plants, and along slug paths. A gardener who throws powder everywhere is not wise. A gardener who places it where the pest actually travels is doing good work. For chicken coops and small animal areas, the old use is simple but not careless. Clean first. Dry the area. Then dust lightly into cracks, bedding edges, roost supports, and corners where mites or crawling pests hide. Do not fill the air with dust around birds. Birds have delicate breathing systems. A dusty coop is already hard on them. Powder helps best when cleanliness, dryness, and ventilation are already in place. Now let us speak plainly about safety. This powder is not poison in the way most people think of poison. But that does not mean you should breathe clouds of it. Fine dust can irritate your nose, throat, and lungs. Flour dust can do that. Wood dust can do that. Ash can do that. So when you apply it under beds, inside cabinets, or in closed spaces, wear a simple dust mask. Keep children away while applying it. Let the dust settle before people and pets return. Common sense is not fear. Common sense is how useful things stay useful. Do not put it in fans. Do not sprinkle it on pillows. Do not shake it into the air for drama. Do not leave piles where a child can slap it into a cloud. Keep the bag closed and dry. Label it clearly. If you spill too much, clean it up. This powder does not need theater. It needs placement. The biggest mistake is using too much. A person buys the right powder, goes home excited, and dumps heavy white lines all across the floor. Then ants walk around the piles. The family complains. The powder gets wet from mopping, and everyone says it failed. But the powder did not fail. The application failed. Thin is the word. Dry is the second word. Path is the third. A thin layer, kept dry, placed in the path. Another mistake is removing it too soon. People want proof by morning. They want to see dead insects lined up like a battlefield. But this is quieter than that. The bug crosses the powder and leaves. The damage has begun, but you may never see the body, so give it time. With ants, watch over several days. With fleas, think in weeks. With bed bugs, think in cycles. With roaches, keep the powder in dry hidden areas and remove food and water at the same time. That matters because no powder can outwork bad habits forever. Roaches need food, water, and shelter. Take away crumbs, seal trash, fix leaks, clear clutter, and the powder becomes much stronger. Ants are the same. Fleas are the same in their own way. Bed bugs are different because they feed on people. But even there, clutter gives them hiding places. The powder is a tool, not an excuse to ignore the conditions that let pests settle in. Now think about the money for a second, because this is the part that should bother a sensible person. A pest company may charge $75 a month, $90 a month, sometimes $100 or more, depending on where you live and what they say they are treating. That becomes $900 to $1,200 a year. Add one emergency visit for bed bugs or fleas, and now the bill can jump by hundreds more. But a small bag of food-grade diatomaceous earth may cost $4 to $8. A little powder duster may cost $2 or $3. So for less than $15, a careful homeowner can treat the dry cracks, baseboards, cabinet gaps, pet bedding areas, and foundation lines that pests actually use. I am not saying every problem in every house can be solved for $15. I am saying many people are paying $800 a year before they have even tried the old $8 bag. So why do so few people know this? The answer is simple. There is very little money in a cheap bag that lasts a long time. There is a great deal of money in repeated service. A monthly plan is beautiful for a company. The customer pays again and again. The truck returns again and again. The problem is managed, not always ended. I'm not saying every pest control man is dishonest. Some are hardworking and knowledgeable. But the business model does not naturally point you toward the cheapest thing that may reduce how often you call. A simple powder does not knock on your door. It does not run television ads. It does not offer a discount if you sign today. It waits on a shelf beside garden supplies and chicken feed while louder products take attention. That is how old knowledge gets lost. Not because someone hides it in a locked room, but because nobody bothers to hand it to the next person. My grandfather handed it to me. I am handing it to you now. So here's what I want you to do if pests have been taking your money and your peace. Find food-grade diatomaceous earth. Read the bag. Buy a small duster if you can. Put on a dust mask. Walk your house slowly. Look for trails, cracks, warmth, moisture, crumbs, pet bedding, baseboards, and hidden corners. Then apply the thinnest dusting you can in the places insects already use. Behind the refrigerator, under the stove, around sink pipes, along baseboards, in dry wall gaps, around the bed frame cracks if bed bugs are the problem, in carpet edges if fleas are the problem, along dry foundation cracks if ants are coming in, then leave it alone. That is the hard part. We are used to sprays that smell strong and make us feel like something happened. This powder does not need to smell strong. It needs to sit there. 2 days, 4 days, a week, 2 weeks. Watch what changes. Reapply if it gets wet. Vacuum when needed and treat again if eggs are still hatching. Keep food sealed. Keep floors clean. Fix moisture. Make the house less welcoming and let the powder make the paths unsafe. Pay attention to the quiet signs. The antlion that does not return. The roach you stop seeing when you open the cabinet at night. The dog that stops scratching after the bedding and carpet cycle is handled. The silverfish that no longer flashes across the bathroom floor. These little changes are not dramatic, but they are the sound of a house coming back under your care. I am Simon Hershberger, and I have learned that most good household knowledge is simple once someone slows down enough to explain it. Food-grade diatomaceous earth is one of those things. Soft to your hand, hard to a bug. Cheap in the bag, expensive in what it can save. Safe when treated with respect, useless when treated carelessly. Thin, dry, and in the path. Those are the words. Remember them. Next time I want to show you another old method, the kind people used before every answer came in a plastic bottle. We will talk about keeping mice away before they become a problem, not with panic and poison everywhere, but with entry points, storage habits, traps placed correctly, and small daily choices that make a house hard for rodents to live in. Until then, find the right bag, use a light hand, keep it dry, and let the quiet powder do the work that loud chemicals have been charging you $800, $1,000, and sometimes $1,200 a year to do again and again.